Hi, I'm Erin with Body of Light Studio, and in our last lesson we took a look at anatomy for the artist, and we looked at our IT bands, our outer thigh muscles, our adductors, our inner thigh muscles, and we released those with a foam roller. And today we're going to do some work to strengthen the muscles around the knees, including the glutes and the quadriceps. So let's just take a look at this photograph. This is the right leg from the front, and this group of muscles at the front of the thigh is your quadriceps. Specifically, we're going to take a look at this one. It's called the VMO, or vastus medialis obliquus, VMO for short, and it's kind of like a teardrop shape. And when we do our work to engage the muscles at the fronts of the legs, the quadriceps, we're going to really focus on that VMO. So we're going to start sitting at the wall. You'll need a yoga block, a couple blankets, and we're going to stretch our adductors. So we're going to sit down with our backs up against the wall, and you'll need to be most likely a little bit elevated. You'll see I have a yoga blanket underneath me. I don't need much elevation. You might need more, you may require less. But you're going to place your block between your feet on the low setting, medium width. So if this is the widest setting, medium height, this is low height, medium width. And you'll place the block between your feet, and you want to get your tail all the way back up against the wall. So the back of your pelvis, the back of your shoulders, and the back of the skull are completely up against the wall. Stay there, but if you are sitting back on your sitting bones, if you're in a posterior tilt, meaning you're tucking your tail, that means you need to sit on something so that you can be right in the middle of your pelvis. And we'll stay here. You can actually stay here for quite a long time. Sometimes I'll read a book or even answer emails while I'm here. And it should be pretty obvious, but we're stretching your adductors, the inner thigh muscles that we just rolled. You can have your hands down on the ground and use your hands on the ground. I like to just have my fingertips tented on the ground. I'm pushing down on the ground so that my spine lifts up. And you're going to take some nice deep breaths, inhaling down into the pelvis. And you're stretching your inner knees out of the pelvis. Rotate your biceps to face outwards so that the upper arm bones are externally rotating. Allow your pubic bone, that joint at the bottom front of the pelvis, to move down so that the sitting bones glide back, almost like if you had a tail. I say this is a cue I really like to use. You would flick your tail back into the wall. And we'll be here for about another 30 seconds. If you can let your knees release down. Sometimes I forgot to put a yoga mat underneath me. If I don't have a yoga mat underneath me, my feet start to slide out, so I'll have to hold onto my ankles. If this hurts your knees, then you can have your feet a little bit farther away from you. You want to try to get your feet as close as you can to your pelvis, but not so much that you feel pain in the knee joint. Just take a couple more breaths here. Feeling the tail move back, the pubic bone glide down, the crown of the head grow tall. And you're going to stay in this position, but remove your block. Now you're going to bring the feet together, get the heels as close as you can to your pelvis, feet together, holding onto your ankles, and now I'm pulling up on my ankles to lift the chest. Press the heels firmly into one another so that the outer hips plug into the pelvis. Those femurs plug into the socket, the greater trochanters plug in. And then you'll bring your hands onto the knees, close the knees, and we're going to go into the studio and do some strengthening work. Next, we're going to work on the rotation of our shins, the tibia and the fibula, our lower leg bones. There is a small amount of rotation that we need to happen in this joint. We don't want a ton of rotation, but we do want the functionality of that tibial rotation. So you're going to place your hands on your right thigh, turn your toes in. I realize you can't really see my feet, but I'm turning my toes in. And then you'll lengthen your leg almost all the way, not quite all the way, keeping that internal rotation, and then turn your toes out. Be sure you're not turning your whole femur out. You're isolating the movement of the tibia, which will be a much smaller range of motion, and then you bend the knee. And then you turn the toes in, and you lengthen your leg. Again, you're not internally rotating the femur. We've got our hands here to make sure that the femur stays quiet. Turn out and bend. Turn in and straighten and turn out. Bend, let's go the other way. You're gonna keep the foot turned out. Again, monitoring the femur, make sure it stays still. Lengthening the leg almost all the way, not quite. You're not trying to really pop that knee straight. Turn in and bend, sit up nice and tall on your sitting bones. Turn the foot out, lengthen the leg almost all the way, turn in and bend. And then we'll do the other side. So you'll flex your left ankle, hands onto your left thigh, you turn the foot out. You start to straighten the leg almost all the way, not quite. Spread the toes, turn in and bend, turn the foot out, stretch through the heel, turn the tibia in. I really have very little tibial rotation on this side. I'm mostly getting it from my ankle. And turn in, I can turn out pretty well, but not in very far. And then we'll go the other way. You're gonna keep the toes turned in, flex or stretch the leg, turn out and bend. You're turning the toes in, straightening the leg almost all the way, not quite. Make sure you're not really straightening the leg here. Turn out and bend. Let's do that one more time. Turn in. Oops, I'm cheating. I'm using my femur. You want to keep that femur quiet. And do that one more time. Turning in and lengthening. Turn out and bend. Good. All right, so for this next one, the last thing that we'll do in this series, I have a foam roller that's a half roller. You may not have one of these at home. If you don't, you can just roll up a blanket and place it under your knees. And then I also have ankle weights. So I'm gonna place this is a 1 pound ankle weight. You could do this with 2 pounds as well. Gonna put that over your ankle. And you wanna, again, be right in the middle of your sitting bones. So if you're tucking your tailbone and you're back on your sitting bones and you're collapsing down into your pelvis, then you could lean back a little bit. So you wanna lift the chest and you wanna be right in the middle of your sitting bones with a long spine. And you're just gonna straighten the leg, keep the foot flexed, and we're gonna get that VMO to activate. Point the toes and bend. And you can actually tap that little teardrop muscle. Maybe I'll roll my pants up so you can see a little bit better. I'm all black. There's that teardrop muscle at the upper inner knee, and we want that muscle to work. And it responds, muscles respond really well to this tapping. So you're gonna flex and straighten, point and bend. And you're gonna flex, and as you straighten your leg, you're pushing your thigh down into either the blanket roll or your half roller, and then you'll point and bend. Thigh pushes down, you reach through the heel, straighten, point, and bend. And you're gonna keep the toes pointed, reach the leg long, spread the toes, flex, reach out through the heel, rock a little forward on your sitting bone so the pubic bone goes down and your tail goes back, and then you flex, point, and lengthen. You can keep tapping so that muscle engages, flex, and bend. Let's do that 2 more times. Point and straighten. You're drawing the top of the knee up into the pelvis. You're lifting the back ribs, spine up, flex and bend, and point and straighten. Spread the toes, peel them back, and bend. All right, let's do the other side. Placing your weights around your ankle. Sitting nice and tall on your sitting bones. You're gonna flex the foot, spread the toes, push your leg. Actually kind of have to hold this in place, otherwise it slides. Reach out through the heel. You can tap that VMO. You want your little teardrop muscle, vastus, medialis, obliquus to work. Point the toes, and like you're carving through the air with your pointed foot. And then spread the toes, flex, reach out through the heel, drawing the knee up into the pelvis, point through the toes, and bend. flex the ankle, spread the toes, push your leg down into your roll or your roller, point the toes, and you're carving out the space. Let's do that one more time, flexing the ankle, reaching through the heel, take an inhale, and exhale. Let's go the other way. Keep the foot pointed, and you're not scrunching the toes. It's like you're painting this opposite wall with your toes. As you lift the leg, spread the toes, flex the heel, and bend. Point the foot, and you're reaching through these long toes to the opposite wall. Spread the toes, flex. Now reach out through the heel. Plug your femur back into the glute and bend. Point the toes, push your thigh down, flex the heel, suction the thigh bone back, and bend. We'll do that one more time. Point and lift and flex and bend. All right, so if that was really easy and you didn't feel any activation in your quadriceps, you could use more weight. You could even go up to maybe like 5-pound ankle weights. Of course, you want to gradually increase your weight so you don't put any more strain on your knees. And that's it for today. Thanks for joining. See you soon.